Okay, so let's jump right in. We all have this picture in our heads of a chef, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're in the kitchen. It's their stage. They're calling the shots. They're like just creating these like incredible plates of food. But what's the reality like behind those swinging kitchen doors?
Yeah,
What's really going on?
right.
So today we're going deep into this article called Kucharskie Kroniki.
Yeah.
12 rozloga zašto biti szef kuchinje teže nego Jusha misleit.
Wow.
It's from this website called Otrukani Pelin.
And you know what's interesting? The article is in Croatian.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of got me thinking, like, do some of these, like, brutal truths about being a chef, hit differently in other cultures? Like, what do you think?
That's a really interesting question because we often assume these career paths are like universal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe the challenges and the rewards vary depending on like where you are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But today, let's focus on the 12 brutal truths that this article lays out.
Okay.
So brutal truth, number one, hard work alone just won't cut it.
And it's fascinating how the article really dives into this idea,
Yeah.
It's not just about, like, clocking in those long hours.
Right.
It's about being, like, smart with your effort. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, for example, they talk about how a chef might be working these 12-hour shifts, but if they're not, like, actively managing inventory or training junior staff efficiently, that hard work, it doesn't really translate into, real progress for the restaurant.
So it's not just about the sweat. It's like working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
And I bet a lot of us can relate to that in any field, right? Like putting in the time, but not always seeing the impact.
Oh, totally.
So how can chefs make sure that their hard work actually gets noticed and leads to growth? Like, how do you prove yourself?
Well, the article, it hits on 3 key things.
Okay.
Documenting your achievements, communicating them clearly, and actively seeking feedback. It's like you're building a case for yourself, You're showcasing your value to the restaurant.
Yeah, that makes total sense. You can't just assume your boss sees everything you're doing.
Right.
Speaking of bosses, this next one's a bit of a doozy. Brutal truth. Number 2, loyalty isn't always rewarded.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It's tough.
And the article is pretty straightforward about it, Modern businesses, especially in the restaurant industry, they often have to prioritize profit over sentiment.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking maybe they're referring to, like, the high turnover rates we see in restaurants globally,
Okay.
Like, chefs are often lured away by better offers and things like that.
That's true. It's a competitive industry.
Yeah.
It almost feels like you constantly have to be looking out for yourself and what's best for your career,
Yeah.
Even if you love the place you're at, it's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. And it really highlights the importance of being proactive about your career goals,
Yeah.
Don't wait for someone to hand you opportunities. You got to create them. You have to be your own advocate.
All right, on to brutal truth. Number 3. Your chef's hat isn't a crown.
This is where the article gets really metaphorical.
Okay.
It compares a chef's title to a fresh ingredient.
Interesting.
It has potential, but it needs to be used properly to retain its value.
So it's not about the title itself, but what you do with it.
Yeah.
What stood out to you in this part?
Well, it's all about translating that title into real leadership,
Okay.
The article emphasizes demonstrating your skills, leading by example, and earning the respect of your team. These actions, they speak much louder than just wearing the hat.
Yeah. And it's funny how this applies to so many other fields, too.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
How often do we see people hiding behind titles instead of truly leading?
All the time. And it makes you wonder, are they leading because of their title, or did they earn the title because of their leadership skills?
That's a good point. It's like a chicken and the egg.
Totally.
Okay, on to a truth that might spark some debate. Brutal truth. Number 4. Your boss isn't always right, but.
Ah, yes, the but is crucial.
What's the but?
The article highlights the importance of speaking up when you disagree, but doing so constructively and respectfully,
Right.
It's about finding the best solution for the team, not just winning an argument.
Yeah, you mentioned constructive disagreement, which is so important in any workplace, right?
Absolutely.
Have you ever been in a situation where you had to disagree with your boss?
Oh, yeah.
It can be a delicate dance, right?
Oh, totally.
Right.
And I think it's crucial to remember that, even the most experienced chefs, they can have blind spots.
Right.
But once a decision is made, everyone needs to execute it, even if you don't agree with it 100%, You have to work together as a team.
Makes sense. Now, this next one is something we all struggle with. Brutal truth.
Remember.
Burnout isn't a badge of honor.
We can all agree on that one, I think.
I think so.
This part really resonated with me. The article acknowledges the crazy high stress levels in the culinary world and the toll it can take. And it really urges chefs to prioritize self-care, which, let's be honest, is easier said than done in such a demanding industry.
Absolutely. Any practical tips from the article on how to manage that stress and avoid burning out?
Well, setting boundaries is huge. Making time for activities you enjoy outside of work, even if it's just for a few minutes each day, can make a world of difference. You can't pour from an empty cup.
So true. Taking care of yourself is just as important as taking care of your kitchen. Speaking of pushing yourself, brutal truth, number 6, comfort zones are traps.
And this is where the article uses a fantastic metaphor. It compares a chef's career path to a winding mountain path.
I like that. So staying in your comfort zone might feel safe, but ultimately it's holding you back from reaching your full potential.
Precisely. The article really emphasizes that embracing challenges and stepping outside of your comfort zone is where the real growth happens.
Have you ever taken a risk that pushed you out of your comfort zone?
Oh, many times. And it's never comfortable in the moment. But looking back, those risks led to the most significant growth and learning experiences.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had similar moments in your career.
Definitely, and it ties in perfectly with brutal truth. Number 7, feedback is a gift.
Even negative feedback, when given constructively, is so valuable. It's an opportunity for growth and improvement.
I have to admit, I don't always love hearing criticism.
Oh, yeah.
But you're right, it can be a gift if you approach it with the right mindset.
It's all about perspective. We can all benefit from having someone point out our blind spots.
Okay, brace yourselves for brutal truth. Number 8, you're replaceable.
Ooh.
That's a tough one.
The article doesn't sugarcoat it. It emphasizes the importance of focusing on adding value and building a strong team. Your value isn't tied to being irreplaceable.
So it's not about being indispensable as an individual, but more about being a valuable part of a larger system.
Exactly. It's about contributing to the team and constantly evolving to stay ahead of the curve.
Always learning and growing. I like that. Speaking of growth, brutal truth. Number 9, careers aren't linear.
This one goes back to that winding mountain path metaphor from the article.
Yeah.
You never know what twists and turns lie ahead.
And that can be both exciting and terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
What about you? How's that resonated with your career journey so far?
Oh, my path has definitely had its fair share of unexpected detours.
I bet.
But looking back, those seemingly random experiences, they all contributed to where I am today.
Good reminder that those detours aren't failures, they're just part of the journey. Okay, on to brutal truth number 10. Brutal truth number 10, perfection slows down progress. And this one feels kind of counterintuitive, especially in the culinary world, right?
I know, right? You think in a field where, precision is so important, perfection would be the goal, right? But the article argues that, striving for the unattainable can actually hold you back.
So it's not about lowering your standards, but more about recognizing that nothing will ever be, absolutely perfect.
Exactly. The article suggests that this pursuit of perfection, it can lead to procrastination, overthinking, and even a fear of trying new things.
And when you're so focused on every tiny detail being perfect, you might miss the bigger picture.
Right. It's all about finding that balance between striving for excellence and accepting that there's always room for improvement,
Right.
It's that iterative process, create, learn, adapt, and keep moving forward.
It makes me think of that saying done is better than perfect. Sometimes you just need to get it out there, and then you learn from the experience.
I couldn't agree more,
Yeah.
especially in a fast-paced environment like a kitchen.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, on to brutal truth, number 11. Nobody hands you success.
This one really hit home for me. It's a reminder that success is earned, not given. It's about taking ownership of your goals, putting in the work, and persevering through the inevitable challenges,
And this is a message that resonates far beyond the culinary world.
Absolutely. It's a universal truth no matter what field you're in. Nobody's going to hand you your dream career on a silver platter. You got to go out there and make it happen.
And that takes hustle, resilience, and a whole lot of determination, but it's also incredibly empowering, right?
Yes.
Knowing that your success is ultimately in your hands, you have the agency to shape your own path.
You said it. And that leads perfectly into brutal truth. Number 12, networking is essential.
And, so much of the culinary world seems to rely on word of mouth and those personal connections.
It's true. The article emphasizes how networking can open doors to new opportunities, provide valuable insights, and create a support system that can help you navigate the ups and downs of your career.
But it's not just about, like, attending industry events and collecting business cards, is it?
Not at all. It's about building genuine relationships, being helpful and supportive, and contributing to a community of like-minded individuals.
So how do you go about building those genuine connections? Any tips from the article?
Well, for starters, be genuinely interested in the people you meet. Ask questions, listen actively, and find common ground. Don't be afraid to share your own experiences and insights, too.
So it sounds like it's all about building a reciprocal relationship where you're both learning and growing together.
Precisely. It's about creating a network of support and collaboration, not just a list of contacts.
So we've explored all 12 of these brutal truths about being a chef,
Hmm.
and they might seem harsh at first glance.
Hmm.
But I think they offer this like refreshingly realistic perspective on what it takes to succeed in this, demanding yet ultimately rewarding profession.
Yeah, they're like a wake-up call,
Yeah.
shaking us out of those romanticized notions we often see in movies and TV shows.
Exactly. They're a reminder that the culinary world is not for the faint of heart.
Hmm.
It takes grit, determination, and a willingness to embrace the, less glamorous aspects of the job.
But at the same time, the article doesn't shy away from the immense satisfaction that comes with mastering this craft.
Yeah.
The creativity, the teamwork, the joy of creating something delicious, those rewards are very real.
It's all about finding that balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledging the challenges while staying connected to the passion that fuels your ambition.
Exactly. And for anyone considering a career as a chef or any career that demands that level of dedication, it's crucial to go in with a realistic understanding of what to expect.
To know the challenges you'll face, the setbacks you might encounter, but also to hold on to that spark of excitement that drew you to this path in the first place.
Your article really emphasizes the importance of that inner drive. It's what pushes you to keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep striving for excellence, even when things get tough.
And I think that's what makes this article so inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just present these brutal truths, it uses them to highlight, like, the human spirit,
Yeah.
the resilience, the sheer determination it takes to turn challenges into opportunities for growth.
It makes you want to get out there and embrace the unknown, to carve your own path, even if it's a winding one.
So for all you aspiring chefs out there, for anyone chasing a dream, remember this. It won't be easy. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and exhaustion. But if you're willing to put in the work to constantly learn and grow and never lose sight of your passion, you have the power to create something truly extraordinary.
And if you find yourself questioning your path, if those brutal truths start to feel overwhelming, remember you're not alone. There's a whole community of people who have walked a similar path, faced those same challenges, and come out stronger on the other side.
Reach out, connect, build relationships, because ultimately it's that shared passion, that support system that will help you navigate those winding mountain paths and reach your full potential.
And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one sharing your own brutal truths, inspiring the next generation of chefs, entrepreneurs, artists, or whoever it is out there chasing their dreams.
Well said. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of professional chefs. We've covered a lot of ground, but we want to leave you with one final thought. We've talked about how passion for food isn't enough to thrive in this demanding environment. What other qualities, what inner strengths do you think are essential for success as a chef?
Share your thoughts with us. We'd love to hear what resonates with you.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world around us.